In the beginning, there were no classrooms, no labs or libraries, no offices, only the beautiful land, home to a community whose leaders saw the need for a college. In 1971, these leaders, 5 from Pasco and 4 from Hernando, formed the First District Board of Trustees of Pasco-Hernando Community College and chose Dr. Milton O. Jones as its first president. It was still a college without walls in 1972, when classes were offered in rented spaces in Dade City, Brooksville, and Newport Richey. A new student paid $5 to apply and $10 per credit hour. But by 1977, 3 full-service campuses had been built in those cities. The First Board's strong commitment to a district-wide college would remain a hallmark of the institution for its first 50 years.
The board decided very early on we were going to serve the entire district, including Newport Richey and Brooksville. We wanted to take education to the students. So the best thing we did about that was to hire Dr. Jones. He was highly trained in multiple campus colleges. The philosophy was we were going to take it to the students and make it as easy as possible and as economical as possible for all of them. And I think our board established that philosophy, and successive boards have done an excellent job of that.
I enjoy being a part of building things, getting things off the ground and up and running. So when given the opportunity, the privilege to serve as a founding trustee by Governor Askew, I was pleased to say yes. Our biggest challenge was to hire a president. We needed a president, needed a leader. We hit a grand slam home run when we hired Milton Jones. He was awesome in the interview, and he was even better than that as the years moved along. We were blessed to hire the right person.
I read in the paper that we're starting a new college in Pasco and Hernando counties. I finally got the job. They wanted to call the place Hernasco, and I said, why don't we use the 2 counties as the name of the college? So it would be Pasco-Hernando Community College. I talked to this Mr. Potberg, and he says, well, I've offered land over here to build a college, and I won't charge any money for it. I'll give you 100 acres. He says, come over and just choose what you want. And so I went over there and spent a day with him, and he donated it to the college. Wayne Cobb was a very special person, and that Mr. Potberg and Jim Kimbrough and Sheriff Gillum was very good, because he was the one that helped me get the training pistol range and helped us an awful lot. People made the difference.
The college had offices in 5 or 6 locations. You just found a place to park, you walked to the office, and that's how you got around, was on foot. We also had no mail service per se, and so we had to walk to the post office to drop off the mail and pick up the mail. The lady that came to work about 3 or 4 weeks before I did was the cashier, and she and I shared a secretarial desk. My very first job was payroll, and so that's very cyclical. Everything was on 13-column spreadsheet pads, accounting pads. We did everything manually by hand.
Uhuru dealt with the freedom. It can be a mental freedom, and in order to become freer mentally, you had to study and read and absorb information and apply it to your life. When I recruited, I just didn't want to recruit students for numbers' sake. I wanted to recruit students and give them a direction, and that Uhuru was the direction.
The thing that I remember most about my whole career here is at the very beginning, everyone bought into the concept that we were a campus without walls and that we would do whatever it took for students to succeed. And so that meant faculty members driving from campus to campus to campus. Librarians sometimes had to do that too. Everyone had to teach. Everybody bought in, and it was just a feeling of camaraderie, a closeness that sometimes you lose when the institution gets larger.
The strong leadership of the early years continued during the tenure of its second and third presidents, Dr. Robert Judson and Dr. Katherine Johnson. In 2010, a 4th full-service campus opened in Spring Hill. In 2014, the Porter campus, the fifth full-service campus, opened in Wesley Chapel.
There's nothing more wonderful than teaching community college workforce programs. I never had a student say to me, Ms. Brooks, why do I have to learn this? When am I ever going to use this? We had a really good relationship with our business partners in town. They would not advertise when they had an opening. They would call me and say, I need somebody, and I could get them in part-time, and then when they graduated, they could go full-time. And I had a student come back and was visiting with me. She'd graduated about 6 years before. And she said, I just want you to know, I really think you saved my life. And I said, my goodness, why would you say such a thing? And she said, well, I was in a very abusive relationship. And I started taking the courses, and I ended up finishing, and I got my good job, and I was able to leave. And I really don't think I'd be alive today if I had not had that opportunity.
When he came to the college, Dr. Judson was a financial aid director. And then he was also a dean, and he was a vice president. So he actually went through the ranks. And then he taught classes as well. And that gave him the perspective of what this community college environment was all about. He was easy to talk to. And that was one of the major attributes of Dr. Judson.
The purpose of the Learning Lab were to help those students in vocational areas, diesel mechanic, cosmetology, practical nursing, and some of the AS or certificate programs to come into the lab. From there, we developed classes because we were saying the same thing repeatedly. That's what I found myself doing with the students. So we set up developmental courses. My love for teaching my students, helping them, and seeing them grow, become strong, and independent and successful, and to give back to the community.
Pasco-Hernando State College afforded me all of the richest cultural opportunities that anyone could find at any city, anywhere. A lot of individuals see it as being a rural college, but we were far more open-minded than many of our colleagues, even in urban settings. I always felt that whatever we wanted to do from a cultural standpoint, regardless if it was black or Hispanic or women, that, you could do it. And I think we always took the lead, and we brought in speakers here like we brought in Julian Bonds, we had Jesse Jackson Jr., and we're still doing it.
I have always felt like education was a key to success, and a college degree is just something nobody can take away from you. There were a lot of memorable things that happened during my 8-year tenure, but the one thing that sticks out in my mind was the graduations. I have made it a practice that anytime I'm in a doctor's office or the hospital, I ask the nurses, where did you get your education? And I can't tell you how many times they've said Pasco-Hernando Community College. And that's thrilling.
I'd like to mention two people that had a great influence on me, Karen Richardson and Martha Price. They were such strong advocates for the program. They were lovely people, and they worked hard to get us to a level of excellence. I did have a most interesting experience recently where I had some outpatient surgery. Some of the nurses there said, Professor Olds, you're here. And I'm like, who are you? So some of my actual graduates have taken care of me. And that made me so proud. They did a great job.
We had a great financial person. I personally asked him, well, I understand that we can't afford a daycare center, but we really can't afford not to have one if you want to keep our students coming back. So we asked Dr. Judson and the financial folks to try and find a way. Then they did. The smartest thing we did was hire a company that were professionals in daycare to run the center. It was very, very popular. We filled it up right away. The students were thrilled. You want to break that chain of poverty by education. That's the only way you're going to be able to do that.
Those were such heady years. Everything came together. Our enrollment was growing. Our PICO funds were in line with us expanding our 2 campuses. We were able to use those PICO dollars to build the campuses that had been planned and expand. And then we were able to use our leverage in Tallahassee to request permission to begin to offer the baccalaureate degrees. One lasting memory would be working with the late Don Porter, because Bob Judson introduced me to him the first day I was on the job. And Don Porter was the gentleman who had the land at Wiregrass. And I worked with him for a good 5 years, waiting till the funding was right, where he actually gave us the land and we were able to build that. And I was so pleased that we were finished and he was able to see it before he passed away, because truly that legacy out at the Porter campus is not just for him, but for his family and for that whole community out there.
Under the leadership of its fourth president, Dr. Timothy Beard, the college has added new 21st century programs, such as cybersecurity, e-commerce, and unmanned vehicle systems operation. In 2022, it opened an instructional performing arts center, IPAC, in Wesley Chapel, where students can pursue associate degrees in dance, music, theater, and digital media multimedia technology. An Open Door state grant supports rapid credentialing for students seeking industry certification in STEM careers. Expanded distance learning options complement classroom-based instruction. New intercollegiate sports have been added, bringing the total to 7. In this dynamic environment, PHSC embarks on the next 50 years, proud of its past and bullish on its future.
We've been working on entrepreneurship, and with that, we've also been able to build entrepreneurship programs. Specifically, one I'm proud of, and I'm hoping we can finish within the next year, is right here on the North Campus. We're making our first Entrepreneurship Innovation Center makerspace, and that gives the opportunity for students in any discipline that can do ideation and create and build their idea or their prototype in this space. We're working to create that in collaboration with partners to start building a true incubator here in the Hernando County area, City of Brooksville.
I still see state colleges as the economic engine to our area throughout this state, the other 27 colleges. The last 12 to 15 years have really validated the importance of community and state colleges. We're quick producers of results. In the future, I see our role expanding even to a greater degree to make sure we have a very skilled workforce for our local area. My goal has been to leave it better than I found it. I found it in a good place, but we can always do better. And I look for the next president to even do better.
With support from education and business partners, Pasco-Hernando State College now embarks on an exciting new chapter of growth and development, embracing our open door mission, welcoming diversity, inspiring ingenuity, and supporting initiatives that will benefit the residents of our district for generations to come.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy birthday to 50 years of service.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary, Pasco-Hernando State College.
I want to say the PHSC and our great family in the community, staff, students, community citizens, happy golden anniversary. You can get there from here and meet me at the top.